All right, guys, so what I'm going to do is I'll kind of give you a little quick overview, and then I'm going to run the camera, so I'll be talking, and my buddy Sway will be mostly on the camera, okay? So what we're going to do is we start off with 300 pieces. This is where I start with all of my rifles. I get 300 pieces of brand new. I know some people call it Lapua, but over there they call it Lapua, so we call it Lapua. And I'll show you something that's kind of crazy. Even brand new brass, I don't know if you can see that, it's not perfectly symmetrical and it's a little bit dented. So it's just because in the packaging, you know, they're shaking when they get in here, and so you get them and you get a few dents in them. So what we're going to do in the very first step that we do is we're going to get ready to turn the necks. And so we turn the necks on this 21st century neck turning tool. We're going to actually show you how to set this up, but this is step one for that portion of turning the necks. All right, so here we go. We're using an RCBS, and we're using this is a 21st century. You see that? All right.
All right, guys, this is the E24. This is a 21st century titanium expander mandrel. Like Trey said, we have a lot of imperfection in the brass when it comes, whether it's shipping or just poor quality control, whatever you want to call it. We like to go in there, and we're going to also, as it is virgin brass, we're going to go ahead and neck turn it. You know, some guys say you don't need to neck turn at all, and you'll get bug holes, you know, at 100 yards, and that's great. Shout out to all you 3-round, 1-hole shooters. We like to shoot 5-round accuracy tests to see what our groups look like. A lot of people fight the flyer 4th, 5th round. There's always that one that gets away. I found that my consistency in the bullet seating and in the overall reloading process by turning necks is what makes the difference, in my opinion. If you beg to differ, you know, cool, do you. We're gonna go ahead and start by putting the mandrel. We have the expander mandrel die here. What I like to do is I have some Imperial wax that we use. You guys can use one shot lube, any kind of lube. This is just kind of how I broke out doing it. It's kind of old school. You know, I learned from some old timers, and I just kind of stick to my ways. What we're gonna go ahead and do is grab some of this Imperial wax, and we're just gonna put a light coat on here. Now I know it's titanium nitrate coated, but I still lube it.
And so you can also use this one shot. A lot of people are turning the brass upside down and spraying the one shot in there. It works as well.
We'll go ahead and install the expander mandrel. Goes in, put your top on. We're gonna go ahead and get started. And you'll see whenever we go up, give it just a little bit, pull it back down. Go up, come down. Go up, come down. Then what I do about every 3rd or 4th piece of brass, I just grab just a little bit of this Imperial wax with the Q-tip. I'll go in there, give it a quick swipe, send it up.
So guys, we do this to all 300 brass. Now the first thing that we kind of jump a step here is we always take the micrometer and measure the outside before we send it up. And we did that here, and I write everything down. So this is my first day on the Hart 6mm Creedmoor. I write the date. And the virgin brass from Lapua comes out at 0.269. And then after we ran it through the expander mandrel, 0.270. And we do that for a couple of reasons. One, so that we can have consistency. Another thing is I write down every step that I do when I reload every day. I write down exactly what I did that day, exactly what my conditions were, what we talked about, any questions we had, what we thought. And the reason why is because, you know, sometimes we'll start loading a rifle and then I don't get to get back to it for a month just because life happens. And a lot of times when I do that, I come back and I can't even remember what I did. So I go back and I just jot them down on these little books right here. Nothing special, just a little dollar store, dollar book. And I just write down everything inside of there, and I always keep that with me. And it's saved my rear like tons of times. So highly recommend being able to do that, and we will continue to ride in this, and I'll continue to show you. But the point of using the expander mandrel first is, one, to open the necks back up and make them all uniform so that that anything that's bent on the inside won't be bent anymore, and two, to make them just a little bit bigger so that when we put them over here on the neck turning die, they will, and you start turning just this neck portion right here down to right there.
It's actually recommended by 21st Century that you get their specific expander mandrel, and you'll see it when you order it online. Their expander mandrel is it going to be E, then the caliber that you're using it with, and it's very important that you guys go with the same company. And you'll see here that this is the actual turning mandrel to this caliber. I don't know if you can see it there or not, but it basically gives you the part number there, and it's a T24, which is turning mandrel 24. So you want to use 21st Century, whichever way you decide to go, neck turning wise. You want to get your mandrels from the same manufacturer, because it's built to their tolerance to be able to throw into their lay. Now we have this one set up right now. As we're doing this one, I'm finishing up some 6.5 Psalm that we're turning here. Once we get to the next part of the video, we'll switch out the mandrel in it, and we'll go ahead and turn these 6 Creedmoor brass.
So guys, what we're going to do is I've got 300 6mm Creedmoor brass, and I'm going to run them all through the expander mandrel right now, and then we'll come back and set up for the actual neck turning portion of it. But this is step one. Open up the brand new brass and get your die set up and expand all of the necks on them to make them uniform, and to open them up just a little bit so they expand, so that they will trim better on the neck turning. And so that's step one. We'll go to step two here in a second.